Hello, I'm Wendy Jelbert and welcome to my top tips for acrylic artists. When we've completed all our exercises and demonstrations and projects, hopefully you'll become a more adventurous and inspired artist. So let's get started. Right, acrylics can be used like watercolours, and of course we need to wet the paper, and I'm going to grade one colour from dark to light. Now acrylics do act like watercolours and they dry quite matte, but to start with we want to have a very thick paint, so we put a little bit more thick up the top there, grading down as we go, and then adding a little bit more water. Because of this water underneath, this helps it to flow, and a little bit more water, so that it's almost a very pastel colour. Like watercolours, we can take the paint out of the brush and lift it, so you've got a light area, and you can do it again, over again, so you get a lighter, brighter spot. And this is like a ray of sunlight or a shine on something. Again, we can wet the paper and we can have a wet into wet dropping in of different colours, which is absolutely exciting. So we can get a red. There we are. Look at the way it runs. Gorgeous, isn't it? Seeps and diffuses together. And we can use several colours, a nice yellow. And you can tip the paper and this will make the colours run together. So this is perfect for wet into wet. Drop some more colours in. There we go. It's lovely, isn't it? Delicious. There is also something that's very useful. It's called splattering. And if we put a little bit of water here, we can use your little finger and with your brush splatter down so that it almost disappears. And then you can bring it down here, splintering the pigment, and you can redo an area so that you get a darker effect. And this is good for weathered walls, pebbled paths. You get different kind of marks as well, depending on the angle that you keep your finger and the way that you splinter the paint from your brush. And I'm going to do one more and then wait for it to dry. So this colour is a blue, and I'm going to scratch out on this surface in a minute. Again, a lovely technique. And I need to leave this to dry. Now this is dried, we can scratch back through the dry acrylic, and this will give a fantastic texture to the surface, as though snow has fallen on grasses and highlights mountains. There's endless answers to this technique. Now the next thing we're going to do is a dry brush stroke. You need your brush with thickish dry paint and you sweep it across. A lovely technique. And this is for water, sunlight on water, the edges of trees. Endless again for very many answers to problems. Now acrylics can be used like oils, and they are absolutely delicious and luscious to use. They can be used straight from the tube, or they can be used with a little bit of water and with a hog hair brush. And you can start with a very dark colour and slowly add a little bit more light to it, and that is in the form of white, and gets lighter and lighter and lighter, so that the white is probably one of the most useful colours in acrylics when you're doing it in the oil style. Now the paint, again, you can twist and turn your brush so that you see the lines of the bristles showing through in the paint. Lovely. Now another way of painting in the oil style is by putting a colour down and dragging another colour over it. So we'll let this one dry for a moment. Now this is dried, I'm going to scumble, it's called, an orange over the top, and it breaks over the surface and you just see little bits of the colour showing through, and this is again a very important technique for oil painting. You can also do a wet scumble, which you can put the wet paint down and then drag another colour over while the under one is still wet, so it merges and mixes in. And again, this has some really lovely effects. I'm going to try a few dots and dashes in the style of the Impressionists, so that we've got some little traily marks in bright colours, nice thick dollops, and then trying out another colour beside them. You can do as many marks in many varieties as you like, and this will also help you paint in a more adventurous way. We can try a bit of blue through there, little dots and dashes. So it's a very exciting surface. You can try out what I really love is a bit of palette knife, and you can drag it and go right through the surface so that the white paper shows through, and then you can get another lot of colour and merge it together like butter. And then another colour, put that on in stabby marks. We'll drag it right across. Delightful, isn't it? There are other ways of applying acrylics, and these are with pieces of cardboard, and if you press one piece of cardboard down, this could be fence posts, side by side, and the paint partly gets absorbed by the paper, and this makes it a more natural look. Then we can dip another piece of cardboard and slightly bend it over so that we can get grasses. So there can be a few weeds and a few grasses. Another way is to pre-cut out a leaf and press that down if you wanted some ivy to grow over a wall or up a fence post. You want to mix different kind of colours of greens. So we've got yellowy greens and bluey greens, and these will form massed leaves, and you go one over the other so that it looks a little bit more natural. Rollers are amazing for adding paint to an area. You can use them sideways, edgeways, and drive them around so you can get some sharp lines and some fantastic coverings. You can put another colour on over it. Look at that. Wow. This is a plastic roller. You can buy rubber rollers, and also you can use sponge rollers. So they will give you a different mark altogether. Isn't that amazing? Look. Now, around your house you probably find all different kinds of surfaces and sponges that could be used in your paintings. So we could try out a sponge first. Dip the sponge into water, and then you can press the surface onto your paper and move it around. Don't go like that. Twist it so it's more natural. And then you can have a different colour and put that straight in on top without mixing it, and that will make the colours sing. So that's the sponge, and another surface is the lining of a freezer box. So you can that down, press it, and you get another set of marks. Another technique my students absolutely love is to form branches by blowing the acrylic paint through the straw. And you can put another deposit there and blow through the straw. So you could spend hours blowing different colours to form a hedgerow or a tree. This could be an absolute waste of time, but it really is such fun to do.